Good morning, everybody. You see the Left Coast Model Car Builds shop card. You know it's time for another edition of Sunday Model Cars and Coffee. Thank you, Paul, again for coming up with this. Having a lot of fun with it, showing off some old stuff. Got some nice gas station coffee today because I just got back from the racetrack. Went and watched some sprint car racing tonight. Had a little quarter-mile bull ring up the road, Kokomo Speedway. Really great track, and it was a good show. Had 53 non-wing USAC sprint cars, and came down to the last lap of the feature, so we had a good night. And just got home, figured I'd shoot this and get it uploaded. Haven't done a lot otherwise at the bench. Tinkered around a little bit on some older projects, but this is an older build again, and another race car. We had IndyCar last time, so this time we moved into Group C endurance racing. This is the 124th Tamiya. Looks like the body's trying to come off the chassis there. Anyways, 124th Tamiya Porsche 956. Actually, might as well just pull that off if I can not break the exhaust off the turbochargers. It's a real simple kit. Here's the chassis, but it does have some nice details. This is, like I said, an older build, so it's got some spots that aren't quite as clean. I didn't bother to do any harnesses or anything. I did wire our nice little Porsche flat 6, and I just did some different metal shades. I'm really happy with how it looked. Some aluminum, sanded the tires a little bit. Could have gone more. Looks like especially on the fronts there's still a little bit of a seam there, but hey, whatever. Decals on this are actually from IndyCals. There's the instrument panel. We got some gauge decal action, so that actually looks pretty nice. And this was the Rothman's kit. However, it was the original release, and the Rothman's decals were just trashed, so I had to source some from the aftermarket. These came from IndyCals. This is a really nice kit, like I said, pretty simple. But with some nice details, and it, it fits really well as well. Even the engine cover, if you get it lined up right, fits almost like it should. I don't think I'm quite there, but it's close. Anywho, this car was raced. Richard Lloyd Racing was a privateer Porsche team in the 80s. Richard Lloyd had a PR firm, and he got interested in racing back in the 60s, racing some sports cars. Started his own team, and they were a pretty highly successful sports car racing privateer team. Started out in Porsche 924s, and then moved into the top line Group C stuff, and had a long-standing relationship with Canon as well. He sponsored his 924s were sponsored by Canon, and they followed him into the Group C 956s. He did a lot of modifications to the 956 to improve it, and they were really the top of the privateer teams. 1984, Jan Lammers and Jonathan Palmer won the Brands Hatch 1000 kilometer. And I don't know if it's the same chassis. And then this actual car finished second at the 1985 24 Hours of Le Mans. That was Jonathan Palmer, James Weaver, and Richard Lloyd himself, because Richard Lloyd did a lot of his own driving. Interestingly enough, in 1984, Richard Lloyd was in the sort of secondary car. They had a second car, which was a deal with their sponsor, Canon. Canon wanted a video camera in a car, but it added too much weight, so they had a second car because it wasn't going to be quite as competitive. And Richard Lloyd co-drove that with Pink Floyd drummer Nick Mason a few times during that season, which I thought was a pretty cool tidbit when I was researching this car. And this had a really strong driver lineup. Lloyd was no slouch for what you would call a gentleman driver today. And then he had Jonathan Palmer, who made 83 Formula One starts. He was sort of a journeyman on some bad teams. He ran once for Williams when he was their test driver. And then Tyrrell, Ram, Zach Speed. Did score some points with Tyrrell, but never really was on a top flight team. Had some success in sports cars. And then James Weaver, who had a long and distinguished endurance career, 20 years at Dyson Racing, 1997 24-hour Daytona winner, second place at Le Mans, multi-time IMSA champion with Dyson Racing. Just a really strong driver. So the second place at Le Mans in 1985 with this car was kind of the peak of Richard Lloyd Racing, and by 1990 he had gotten out of it just due to rising costs. They did switch to the 962s in the late 80s, moved up with the newer Porsche. But I really always loved the Canon livery. So when the Rothmans decals were shot, I definitely decided I wanted to build this one. Just a really sharp looking car, and pretty happy with it. Like I said, it's not as clean as if I would have built it again. If I find another kit like this, I'll build it again because it's a really fun kit and the fit's pretty good. I could just do a cleaner job now. It's got, just a little sloppiness here and there. I was still learning to be a little bit cleaner. This was a few years back, and it was actually my first sports car kit of any kind since I was a kid. I built a Corvette C5R when I was a kid for 4-H, so I had fun with it, and just wanted to show you guys another old racing car build, and I'll pull something else out of the cabinet for next week. Hope you guys enjoy this, and I will either be back sometime this week if I get any bench time and build anything, or I'll see you guys next weekend for another of these model cars and coffees. And I'm gonna hopefully get to watch some of your guys' videos today of what you guys are showing off, or whatever you got going on. I really appreciate everybody watching, and thank you everybody for all the support and the comments. Especially, I really love talking with people on here. That's sort of what it's all about. This one kind of ran on, as I tend to ramble, especially about racing history, so apologies there. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you all next time.